Alright, welcome back to Flight Sim 2020 and welcome to episode 11 of the Neofly series. As you can probably see, you've just been dropped off in the parking lot and we've been dropped off for a very good reason. In fact, you might be able to just get a glimpse of it up ahead over there. The reason why we've been dropped off and we haven't driven here ourselves is this is going to be the last time we're seeing Kilimanjaro and the Masai Mara on Neofly. Not forever, but just for a little while, because today we're heading all the way back to South Africa. It is about time that I drop in on our operations in South Africa and go and see how things are doing down in Durban, where we started this all. And also I want to kick off a few new routes around the north of the... So we're going to be doing some routes based out of Kruger and Mpumalanga Airport, which is in the Mpumalanga province, and into places like the Kruger National Park, Skukuza, and then into Johannesburg and Pretoria as well, flying some airline passengers in and out, some VIP, and of course some cargo operations as well. So there's the plane we're flying today. This is, of course, JustFlight's BAE 146, but this is the CC version. It's actually the kind of military version, so you can see we've got like some refueling probes and a bunch of sensors and things which are not active on this aircraft. We're using it as a VIP transport aircraft, and in fact today we're not actually transporting VIPs. We are going to be transporting some time-sensitive cargo down to Kruger and Mpumalanga. The reason why we're taking the kind of military version of BAE is because it has enough range to get all the way from here here at Kilimanjaro Airport down to South Africa. The kind of standard airliner version I don't think would make it. So that's the plan for today. Once we get to Kruger and Mpumalanga, we're going to kick off some routes there. We're going to be doing some Kodiak flying into some of the bush strips in the Kruger National Park and surround the greater Kruger area. We're going to have the PC-12s operating there as well. We're going to have some more 146s, the standard airliner versions, the bigger ones as well, doing some airline flights to Pretoria and Johannesburg. And what else? I think that's mostly what I've got planned. We'll probably have the ATRs operating there as well. And then, of course, eventually when we can afford that kind of thing, the 737s and A320s. Right, what I want to do first is weight and balance. So we need a total of 9,500 kgs of fuel. So that's done. And our weight is all set. So that's all cool. We can actually then fold up the stairs, which I don't think are going to happen because we need some hydraulics for that. So we can then start getting things powered up. So let's get our batteries on. And we can probably turn off all of these lights. Clearly the crew that operated this in here last night left all of the lights on. Okay, you can be quiet for now. Okay, so batteries on. Let's get one of the fuel pumps on so we can get the APU starting up straight away. Come up here and double check that the nav lights are on. Beacons are off for now. All the other lights are off. Right. Okay, APU's coming online, so let's start flipping switches. Get these on. Those can come on as well. We leave these off for now. But let's pressurize the hydraulics. That should do it, I think, to bring the stairs up. No. Oh, I need to put this onto on, or is it? Oh, do I need to use the DC pump rather? Yes, I think that's the issue. So this back to auto. Let's put the DC pump on and see. Has that done it? No. What am I missing? Does this need to be on? Huh. Oh, what I might need to do is these. It's not going to be those, but it'll be this. Now we can pressurize. That's why. And I think it is the DC pump. No, it's the AC pump. Because now we've got zero pressure. If I put this on, there we go. Okay. Right, generators are off for now. That's fine. This we can turn on. Let's get the APU air and the packs on. These will turn on. Actually, we can turn these all on now. Right, that's fine. Seatbelt signs on these lights. Come up here, that should be to auto. Set. This should be armed, which is in the middle. That's good, that's good. Okay, cool. Up here it says no. Oh, not empty. Okay, that's correct. I was going to say we definitely have fuel in the aux tanks, which are these over here. So that is correct. Right, passengers. Well, we don't have any passengers. Our cargo is all loaded up. We're nice and heavy today. We're pretty much almost at maximum weight. A gross weight of 34,880, and I think 35 is our max. 35. I think that's the maximum. I can't remember exact. It doesn't say here what the maximum is. Right, that's fine. We come down here, we do have the FMS. Is our flight plan loaded? It appears not, so that's cool. We'll just have to put that in a moment. This should be on standby. That's bad. That should have been done when we parked it up. That should be on. We've got a code, but it's on standby, so that's good. Right, then let's come down here and put this in. So we are HTKJ for our departure. We're going to FAAN, which is Kruger and Pomelo. It's about a 4.5 hour flight today. So there you can see the distance, 1,363 nautical miles. The standard version of the 146 has a range of about 880 nautical miles. This military version goes up to about 1,900. So that's why we're in the VIP version, let's call it that. Okay, our alternate for today, we are going to Johannesburg. That's interesting. Okay, we'll leave that for now then. How do I get rid of this? Yeah. Okay, let's go next page. No, we need to start here. Right, our first waypoint is Avatu. And we'll do the departure and arrival just now. We then go UT 252 from Avatu to Penard. Like so. It's then UG 656 to MB. Just wait for that to load. Like so. UP312 right, it's definitely gonna be this one. UP312 takes us to Apcol with a K. Apcol. We then go direct to Tevas. UP312 again. To Macker. Mac IR. Then direct to VHA. Oh, wrong side. I think that's the Harare VOR. UR525. UR525 to Perla. UB529. 529 to a 2C. Like so. UG467. UG467 to Teva. UZ36, which means we're getting into South African airspace. North 39. UZ36 to KV, which is the Kruger and Mpumalanga VOR. So that's it. Right, let's execute that. Departure today. We are departing from runway 9. Who would have thought? And it's the Avatu 1 Alpha. We then arrive onto runway 5. And we'll probably just do the whole VOR arrival. The VOR ILS arrival into Kruger. Right, that's done. Let's go to the legs page. That all looks good. I wonder if there's anything else that we need to fill in here. I don't think so. It's very basic. Obviously, the actual FMS of the 146 hasn't been released yet. That's hopefully coming soon. We've seen some news recently from JustFlight. When that does happen, we will definitely be using that because I'm very keen for that. And when the RJ version comes out as well, we'll definitely be flying that. Okay, that's our route done. Cruising today, it's given us 34,000. Now, this has always worried me because can we go up to 34,000? Because this only goes up to 29. What's the service ceiling of the 146? But I wonder if that just means that the best we can do is 8,000 foot for the cabin. We can't dial that up any further. Let's see. Okay, so the ceiling for the 146 is 35,000. Okay, so maybe that's what it means. Let's go up to 34 because we've got a long way to go. Like I said, we're going to be cruising, or we're going to be in the air for about 4.5 hours. So we'll dial this up to 340, and we'll keep an eye on that pressurization. Although it probably doesn't matter that much since we don't have any passengers. Okay, we can arm that. When it comes to our departure, we can actually get rid of all this stuff. Probably just use the charts. Right, there's our route, all of that good stuff. So if we now go to charts, we should have departure, HTKJ. Right, and we are Avatu 1 Alpha. So just like we did in episode 9, in the PC-12, I think we're going to fly most of this manually because it wants to turn us the wrong way. So we're going to do runway heading 6,500 feet, right hand turn, intercept the radial 283, was it? 283 from KV. So we need to dial 115.3. .3, flip that over, pause to 283, and we'll sync up the heading once we're on the runway. So we're going to be in heading mode. Right, I think that's us pretty much good to go in terms of starting the engines. At this rate, with us starting kind of late afternoon, probably going to be landing in Kruger tonight in the dark. So let's get going as soon as we can. So we'll flip this over to 4. Master start on. Just double check that everything around us is clear. That looks good. So let's go start that up. We'll come down here, look for 10% over there. We should also definitely have the beacon on. Okay, once we got 10%, we can introduce the fuel. And this is what we missed. Okay, fuel pumps on. Gotta remember how to fly this aircraft. Okay, engine 4 is now coming up. That's now off, so we can flip this over to 3 and do the same thing. Again, watching for 10. It's going to come pretty quickly. Yeah, so you can see the starter is still engaged because of those green lights. Once those go out, we can move on to the next engine. Okay, I think that just went out. Cool. Over to 2. Need to push the button. There we go. While we're down here, we click on this, flaps 15, it will set our speeds for us. And we can also go back here to weight and balance. And no, we don't want that. Click over here and it will set our trim for us. We go back to our charts. Let's start this chart and go open up the taxi chart. That's still coming up. Cool. Yeah, taxi today is going to be nice and simple. We're pretty familiar with this airport, so we're parked over here at Zulu. So it'll be Sierra Yankee for runway 9. Pretty much the same as what we've done every single time. Every single time we've departed from this airport. That's what I was trying to do. Cool, and then finally, engine 1. Yeah, while we're waiting, I might as well dial this roughly over to runway 9. We'll sync that nicely once we're on the runway. Okay, we can then turn on. That's on, that's on. Cool, your damper can come on. That's good. That's fine. We can go. I think I said flaps 15. It's flaps 18 is position 1. Right, this can go there, this can come off. Generators 1 and 4 on. We might as well use the APU, leave the APU generator on. We're going to leave the APU on for takeoff, and that's going to be providing the air, so engine air will come on later. So that's all on, that's all on. We can turn the taxi lights on now while we're here, and we come up here and turn on the pumps so that the engines now give us hydraulic power, and that should definitely be on. That's fine, that's all fine. Strobes will turn on when we get to the runway. Flaps are set. Alright, I think we're good to go. So we can now taxi out and give a little bit more power to get us moving. And of course, there will be a vehicle that drives into us. Right, all of this looks fine. We're going to flip this over. No, we're not. We're going to leave that on nav because we're using that VOR for our departure. Why on earth has this changed around? Because I pushed the wrong button. I should have pressed that. And that should be down. Right, that's armed. Vertical speed will engage once we are climbing out or climbing away from the runway. Okay, we need to check that that's off, and we can now switch this on. When I say off, that, well, that's the test, is that light must be off, because this is now in bypass mode, so we wouldn't get any warnings, so we leave that light off, means it's in the kind of working position. Okay, that's done. We can do this thing's test. Okay, that's set. We'll set it to takeoff. We come down here. Outside temperature is about 30 degrees. That's set to 45. That's cool. We're definitely going to be landing in the dark tonight, which is fun. Okay, flaps are set. All of our bugs are set for takeoff. So it's just lights and transponder and heading once we get to the runway. Okay, we can start doing that now. So landing lights, strobe lights, and once we're going straight here, I'll sort out the transponder. I don't know if that's right. I need to actually check that. Okay, Windsock says we are definitely on the correct runway. Okay, let's come down here and just double check this. No, that's what I wanted. The rest is all fine. Right, I think we're good to go. So we do have the PMS on. So we will advance the throttle until that takes over.
TMS set to takeoff.
I think I said PMS, I meant TMS. It's throttle management system, not power.
Power set, flex achieved.
Okay, TMS has taken over. Heading bug is pretty much fine, actually.
80 knots cross-checked. V1. Rotate. V2. Positive rate to climb, gear up.
Okay, gear up. Aim for about 1,500 feet per minute climb. Engage the vertical speed and we can turn on the autopilot. It should tell us shortly to bring the flaps up. I don't know why it's oscillating like that. And we're looking for 210 knots indicated, and we'll switch over then to indicated airspeed.
Select flaps.
Okay, flaps up. Then the speed will start picking up as well. Then we're looking for 6,500 feet. Okay, let's go IS. We will also switch this over to sync and bring our throttles back to about 88 to 89%. All right, there's 6,000 feet. Okay, let's start our turn to the right. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Now we can dial it past the arrow. Okay, because that's going to take us through the radio because we've got quite a big turning circle. And then we'll come back and intercept it, which is kind of what happens on here anyway. Right, let's turn on the engine air and the APU air off, and we can turn the APU off as well. Okay, that alerts us just for the APU shutting down, so that's fine. Coming up to 10,000 feet. Okay, 10,000 feet, we will speed up to 250 knots and maintain that to our cruise altitude until we level off. Okay, let's arm our nav mode. So we should intercept that radial. Yeah, there's 10,000 feet, so we can turn off the landing lights. We'll go back into vertical speed mode. And then just adjust that down to about 1,000 so that we can increase our speed to 250. Okay, power looks good, 88.9, engines, everything looks steady and in the green. Our aux fuel appears to be transferring. Right, we're coming up to that VOR radial now, so we're going to intercept that, which is working perfectly. And we basically just stay on that radial until Avatu, at which point we will continue on our GPS route. Okay, I think we're at about 250 knots. Close enough. So let's go IAS, climb a little bit faster. We're climbing pretty much the same speed, so that's fine. After all, we are pretty heavy today. I think this is the most fuel I've ever flown with on the 146. Of course, I'm used to doing 1.5 hour, maybe 2 hour hops in this aircraft. So I think this is definitely the longest flight I've ever done in the 146. Right, the other thing I might as well do is set this to standard. Okay, coming up to 15,000 feet, so we've got a bit of a climb to go ahead. We're going to be climbing pretty slowly again because we're heavy, and we're going all the way up to 34,000. keep an eye on our pressurization, although not much is going to be happening at this point. So, this is the other thing that I don't quite understand, is here you set the barometric reference. And I mean, we're at standard, which is, oh geez, not there, 1020. So we're actually just above, probably about there. I'm not entirely sure what that does, because the whole thing moves with it, so... can't move this any further up, so yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but that doesn't tell us the actual pressure of the cabin. This does. So what is this telling us? We're already at 0 degrees outside. So is it just going to try and keep the cabin at 8,000 feet, basically, I suppose? Okay. Right, passing through 17,000 feet. Okay, so we also now going to keep an eye on our speed. We want to climb at about 0.65. So when this rotates and we get to 0.65, we will then, there's no muck hold in this aircraft, or there's no speed hold either. Well, actually no, we do have muck hold while we are climbing. Sorry, there's no speed hold in terms of adjusting the engines, the throttles. We have muck hold while we're climbing, so once that gets to, when that needle lines up with 0.65, we'll flip over to muck hold. And then that's the main reason why this aircraft is better for shorter flights, because it has no auto throttle. But I'm going to use the TMS to kind of manage a bit of that, so we don't have to be adjusting it all the time. It's going to take a few minutes in the beginning to get it right, and then we can kind of leave it to maintain a steady thrust, basically. All right, so we're just passing through 26,000 feet. We're about to come up to 0.65 Mach, but we're coming up to a Vatu. So what I'm going to do, it's 3 miles, is just flip this. We're going to turn this off flip this over to GPS and then go into LNAV. It's going to take us a little bit to our right, and that should put us on our GPS course now, and shortly we should start a fairly significant turn to the left. Yeah, we could also probably get rid of this. Okay, there we go. Cool, we're turning left now. I've also started putting on some lights, because of course we are going to be flying into the dark. So even though I turned this all off earlier, we're going to need that later. Where do I turn this? Oh yeah, this one is over here. Right, and as we turn here to our left, we're heading basically directly away from the Masai Mara, and we'll be back. I'm just not sure when. We need to go and sort some things out in South Africa before we head back to the Masai Mara. Right, coming up to 0.65. I'm watching the pressure gauge as well, which is coming up. Obviously, that's our limit. So I wonder if we're going to be able to make it all the way to 35,000 without that cabin pressure, the pressure differential becoming an issue. So it's holding it at 8,000. But this is rising quite quickly. Our climb has slowed significantly. Just, if we're managing 800 feet a minute, it's pretty good. But also in the turn, it's gonna change. So we'll see now. Once we level out here. Or roll out, should I say. So the one thing I do kind of like about the 146 is it has this little diamond which shows you where you should be flying for your GPS course, which is pretty cool. However, it doesn't kind of predict the turn, so that's why we've kind of S around the line to get back onto it now. It's not the worst autopilot when it comes to that, but it's certainly not the best. Okay, 29,000 feet. What's our pressure looking like? It's getting close. I mean, 34,000 is right on the limit of what this aircraft can do, so we're expecting it to get pretty close to the limit. Okay, we're at 0.65 now, so let's go into Mach hold. That should have us climbing a little bit faster because we're going to keep that where it is. I think we're going to try and cruise at about 0.7. Okay, we're coming up to 31,000 feet. That pressure's coming close to that red line. Mach 0.7 is probably about as fast as we can cruise in this aircraft. Probably actually have a quick look at the weather while we're waiting to reach our cruise here, because yesterday the weather at Kruger was pretty rough in terms of visibility, and there's often issues there with mist and things, or fog I suppose. So this morning, wow, the whole morning it was low IFR. So 2.5 hours ago, lower IFR. Clouds, wow, raining. Clouds at 1,200 feet, but 36 minutes ago, oh wow, it reported low IFR, so it was VFR an hour and a half ago, now it's back to low IFR. So that could be interesting, especially at night. If that's what the weather's going to be like there, I think we're going to be going to Joburg. And I think I might actually change my alternate from Tambo to Vonnerbloem or Lanseria in Pretoria. Well, Vonnerbloem and Pretoria, Lanseria kind of in between. Because both of those are places where we already have hubs for the Neofly airlines, so that would be a better choice. But we'll reassess this once we get a bit closer. But I mean, if it's going to stay like that at low IFR, it doesn't give us any cloud information. Which is interesting. But yeah, looking at the prediction, it's only predicted to get worse later on. Very low cloud base and raining. Okay, we have a webcam from 7 minutes ago. Yeah, it's pretty cloudy. Pretty low clouds. So we might actually be diverting. Probably try Vonnerbloem first. And if the weather's bad in Pretoria, we'll go to Lanseria. Okay, our cabin pressure is right on the brink, but we're coming up to our 34,000 feet momentarily. Right, so what I'm going to do is go for a target temperature. So we're at 795 now, roughly. We're going to bring that all the way down to 620, and then I'm just going to adjust this to make sure that we kind of maintain a constant speed as opposed to accelerating or decelerating. So that's my plan, just to take some workload so I don't have to keep adjusting the throttles manually for 4.5 hours. Okay, we're actually still using fuel from the aux tanks, which appear to possibly be empty now. So now I think we are transferring from the center tank to the left and right, which haven't moved at all. Okay, there is 34,000 feet. Yeah, I think we need to go to about 630. Not 730. Right, so let's do that. So we go to target. Oh, wow. Those white arrows at the top tell you which way you need to move the throttle. So the throttle has to be within a certain distance from the target, and then the TMS will be able to manipulate it. See, we're slowing down, so we do need some more throttle here. Still slowing down. Okay, so let's bump it up quite a bit. See if we can speed up a bit, and then we'll bring it down to maintain that speed. Okay, so we are now speeding up slowly. That cabin pressure is right on the limit. But it does kind of make sense. If the ceiling is 35,000, we're really close to that. Navigraph says we have 3 hours and 20 minutes to go. As the speed comes up, that time will drop a little bit. That's why I want to try and get to about 0.7. We don't really want to go much faster than that. Yeah, we're 0.65 now. So I'm wondering, what do I dial down to? 700? 720? I think 700 might be a bit too much in terms of reducing it too far. Also, I'm just looking at this icing. I checked, there's no icing predicted along our route today, so we should be fine for that. Okay, let's start bringing this down. Let's do 720 and see how that goes. Looking pretty good so far. I'm gonna have to give it a few minutes just to see that it's not slowly increasing or decreasing speed. I think it's still slowly increasing. We're just above 0.7. Why it throttles up so much when you test it. Or it might just be then that my throttles are actually set higher than they need to. And so when you disengage, it ramps up and then brings the throttles down to where they need to be. We're still over 0.7. Let's see what happens in the next few minutes. Yeah, we're pretty much maintaining speed. We're just a little fast. So let's go down to 680. Because I'd rather be a little bit low and fly a bit slower than risk overspeeding. Because obviously at 680 degrees, we're not at risk of going so slow that we're going to stall. Okay, but it's dropping quite quickly, so let's maybe go 690 and keep it kind of in between. And that'll probably keep us pretty much dead on 8.7. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on the speed as well. But for now, we're looking pretty good. There was a way to get rid of this tablet. There we go. So we don't need that at the moment. Alright, but all we got to do now is cruise along. Navigraph says just under 3 hours to go to reach Kruger. So I will see you when it's time to prep for our descent into Kruger. Alright, so we're about just over 100 miles from Kruger. I'm just looking at the weather. 43 minutes ago is the latest METAR. Visibility 3,500 meters. Raining, clouds broken at 600. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. We'll try. So we'll get set up for that. And then when that doesn't work, we're gonna go to... let me actually check Vonneboom while we're here. No, in fact, let's get prepped for this approach. And then... yeah, we'll see. In fact, let's go back here and go arrival Kruger. I'm going to start my descent, so let's just get the... what are we doing? We said runway 5, so we want this, and it's Zulu runway 5, so we can start that. Let's just get intercept altitude. So let's do 8,000 in case we have to hold, and we're going to start our descent now. So we'll dial this all the way down to 8,000. We can arm that. IAS mode, descent. Okay. Then we need to start prepping for this. So I thought I'd start this. Okay. So we don't have a star. We're going to join onto this. We're joining from the north. So we would just go straight onto this 234 radial. Oh, sorry, 234 heading. Okay, minimums, we would be B. So we'd be this one. Minimums of 3,025. Arrow 200 radio, and this is going to be radio, so we'll do 200 here. So our only hope really of getting in is that METAR is 43 minutes old. It's now 46 minutes old. Our only hope is that it's gotten better since then. However, it has been progressively getting worse over the last 2 hours. So, and the forecast doesn't look that good. So I think we're gonna prep to go in there, see if we can get in. We'll probably do 2 attempts. How much fuel do we have? We've got a fair amount of fuel, so I think 2 attempts will be fine. And then we need to get Ouch. Oh, our minimum holding altitude is 5,800. So we can actually descend all the way down to that. Because that is our ILS intercept altitude as well. Yeah, so we'll go down to 5.8. Did that get rid of the... Oh, no. Okay, 112.5 and 109.1. This is very difficult to do when you can't see. Okay, 112.5. We'll stick that in now. And then 109.1 on that guy. Okay, I think we are, in fact, picking up that PKV, so that's good. Then what I might as well do now... No, it's actually not going to work. So we're going to need to get onto this 234 here. I mean, that's about it, really, for our arrival. If we go mist, climb to 6,500. 5 miles from PKV, we turn and head back to the VOR to join this. See, there's no procedure turn, so I don't know why it takes you back to the VOR just to get onto this. It's interesting. I actually need to look up how that works. Because, I mean, if we did 234 radial, we would end up going directly down there. We actually want to be offset a bit. So there must be an actual procedure for joining onto that correctly. Okay, so we're actually descending quite fast now that we're out of 30,000 feet. What I want to do is bring my vertical speed down, or up, I suppose. We want to descend slower, go into vertical speed mode, and then let our IAS build up a bit. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. I mean, there's not really that much else to do in terms of prep. What I guess we can do is 54 is the course, so we can set that here so long. Okay, then I might as well check weather for Vonnegut. So I think that's where we're gonna go. Vonnegut reporting low IFR. Huh. 1 hour ago. Okay, let's look at Lanseria. Because Vonnegut doesn't have an ILS, so anything other than good conditions, there's no point even going. Okay, Lanseria is reporting VFR. Visibility 10K, clouds few at 4,000. That's probably where we'll go then. Okay, so I think what we'll do, we're gonna try and get in. See, I don't see any clouds. We can actually see, okay, there's some clouds out there, but I mean, we can see the city lights, so we might be able to get in. Okay, I just want to turn these on. So, I mean, there's a chance, but there is some cloud out there. But also that METAR is quite old, so there is a possibility. Also, yeah, I don't know. Okay, we'll try it. If we can't get in after 2 attempts, I mean, if we can see on the first attempt that there's absolutely no chance, like it's just full on no visibility all the way down, then we're just gonna go into a hold and we'll pull up the Vitbank VOR. Should be able to pick that up from Kruger. Head over to that and then to the Lanseria VOR and land at Lanseria. I think that is going to be the plan. If we don't make it in the first attempt, but it's kind of like, you know, we just get a bit of rain and stuff that blows across as we get to minimums, then we can give it a second attempt. If that doesn't work, same thing. We'll go into the hole and dial in those VOR frequencies and then mission off to Lanseria. What I probably could do is once we get there, so that's 2, 3, 4, is I could dial 5 or 10 degrees. I think we do 10 degrees left, so 2, 2, 4, and fly that heading out to there. That's probably what I would do. I doubt that that's correct, but I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, just watching our speed. Yeah, once we actually get to the airport, not exactly particularly complicated. There is only one apron, so we're landing this way. So we'll have to turn around probably there, otherwise at the end, come back and we'll take our stand over there. We'll do Alpha 3 or 4, probably 3. Keep clicking star instead of saved. Yeah, very simple VOR approach. What I should do actually is I should dial 8,000 because we're coming from this side. So we want to cross the VOR at 8,000 or higher. So changing our mind again. Cool. So cross at 8,000, 234 degrees. Max 210 knots, so that's probably in this whole process. So once we get to the VOR, we want to be at 210 or less, which is fine. Transition level 9,000 feet. Oh, the 210 is actually for the missed approach, but we'll keep below 210 for the whole process. Make life easier. Okay, so what I want to do then is dial 224 on the heading. So that would be about there. If we do end up at Lanseria, then we might actually run out of time to deliver this cargo. So if I check in Neofly, we have to deliver this cargo by tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, 4:32 in the morning. So, yeah, if we have to leave Lanseria tomorrow morning, we're gonna have missed the deadline for the cargo. That's not good. Huh. Okay, so we do kind of need to make it in. But again, safety is our #1 priority, so if it's bad, we are not going to force it. Yeah, I can definitely see some clouds building up there now. But I can still see the city lights and everything below, so far, it looks like we may have a chance. Right, I mean, I don't think there's much else we can do to prepare for this. I'm not going to put the frequencies in now because we've got our KV, VOR, and the ILS. We need both of those. If we have to divert, we'll climb to 22,000. Okay, good news is I can see the runway, so hopefully it stays that clear. There's a lot of cloud around. It seems to be just like a hole over the airport, so hopefully that allows us to get in there. Okay. Yeah, I'm bringing the throttles all the way back. And gonna let the speed come down. And then we'll continue our descent here. So, with the holding thing, what's confusing me is, normally this would be a parallel entry. So we'd come in, fly parallel, so kind of 234, but over this 054 line. And then turn like this, join back on, and then enter the hold. But we don't want to fly all the way out back, all the way out again. So that's why I'm going to do this kind of offset thing. I don't know what the official way to do that is, but that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, we can still see the runway there, just through that gap. Oh yes, I remember. You can see it there now. The night lighting on the scenery that I have, or the add-on airport that I have for crew, is a bit weird. The windows and stuff glow, so be prepared for that. Like, the scenery is very nice, it's just at night the windows of the buildings look a bit strange. Right, I'm going to get a little bit of speed brake out. Bring our descent rate down to just over 2,000 feet. coming through 13,000. So it's 8,000 or above. We're crossing over the VOR now, which means we need to go into heading mode. Okay, so we are a bit too high, so I'm probably going to have to extend this quite a bit. But the visibility looks okay. I think we should actually be able to get in here. Okay, now we need to go down to 5.8. And I'm going to flip these over. And this we're going to switch over as well. Okay, coming up to 10,000 feet, so we can go landing lights on. Transition is 9,000, so we might as well set our QNH 1029. Okay, and since it is night, let's do logo lights as well. Otherwise, everything is pretty much set. We just need to lose quite a bit of altitude and slow down quite a bit as well. A little bit more speed brake. We don't want to drop like a stone. Remember, we don't really have passengers. Well, we don't have any passengers. It's just cargo, so I'm not too worried about descending a bit quicker than normal. Right, that's 1,000 to go. Now we're actually pretty much bang on. We're supposed to start our turn at 11.2 from the ILS. So pretty much perfect. We bring the speed brake in and we can actually start our turn now. Okay, now the speed's going to start leading off so we can get flaps and things out.
Speed checked below 205. Select flaps 18.
I was going to say when he tells us to. And there he is,
Speed
right on cue.
205. Select gear down.
Okay, I'm going to leave the gear up for a little bit longer. Do runway entry lights as well. That was the other thing I meant to do while we were up there. Yeah, I think we're going to shoot through the ILS. We might have to come back to intercept, which is okay.
2,500.
It's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, definitely some low cloud around, but I think having been able to see the airport all the way through, I think we should be fine. Okay, localizer and glide slope are alive. Now that's maybe a bit much. Let's do that. Okay, then we'll do localizer and glide slope.
Glide slope armed. Glide slope's alive. 1 dot to go.
Right, 1 dot,
Localizer
gear
captured.
down.
Glide slope captured.
Right, if I go quiet now, it's because I'm concentrating. So what I need to do is once we intercept, or once we capture the localizer, dial this heading to match our course needle. So if we have to go around, we've got the heading set up. We're on the glide slope, so we can dial this up to 6.5 for our go around. Let's set our speeds for landing. Approach pretty slow in this aircraft. Okay, 7.5 miles to go. This visibility is not great. So definitely once we get into the low clouds, it's going to get interesting. Okay, I think we've captured the localizer already. Let's dial this around.
Established on the ILS.
That's good. Yeah, we need to get the rest of the flaps out. This visibility is not great. See, if we in these low clouds, that's going to cause issues. Okay, it's opening out a little. Just getting the rest of the flaps in here. Oh wow, this is not good. Okay, flaps full. We are ready for landing now. I think that was some rain that was just lit up by the landing lights that shot through the windscreen. (1,300 feet). Oh, there's a glimmer of light up ahead. It looks like it, yeah, it's raining. Okay, I can see the runway lights. I think we can do this. Yeah, you can see the weird terminal lights on there. Okay, I'm going to take control. We are well under the glide slope for some reason. I should have actually taken control sooner and fixed that.
500.
Wow, that flashing is bright. Okay, it is also kind of bumpy. But I think we got this. We're very, very low on the profile, which is not good.
50. 40. 30. 20.
Come on. Settle. Very.
10.
But we'll be okay.
Yellow and green spoilers. Brake pressure seen. 60 knots.
Right, definitely not the best landing ever. It was pretty bumpy. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty stressful landing at night when you've got rain and wind and all of that. I don't know why the autopilot brought us in so low on the glide slope. It is my fault for not noticing that sooner and correcting it. But that, yeah, in hindsight, we probably should have just gone around off of an approach like that. I just don't want to risk coming back and we can't get in because the visibility is not great. Not quite the 600 feet cloud base, but again, that was 40 minutes ago, so things could have changed. Okay, let's come up here and start the APU. So long. APU generator is on. We'll turn on the APU air. We can turn off the engine air for now because it's not going to be too long. Okay, we can get the speed brakes and the flaps sorted. Landing lights, strobes, and transponder we'll do once we're off the runway. Okay, this is not our taxiway here. We're going all the way back down. Yeah, our touchdown, super... I think we might have been more than halfway down the runway. And I wasn't too worried about it because this aircraft, because it approaches so slowly, and you've got that huge air brake out on the tail, and obviously once you're on the ground, there's massive air brakes on the wings as well, or spoilers, I guess. This aircraft stops nice and quickly, even though it doesn't have reverse thrust. It stops pretty... So, wasn't too worried. What is that out? There's another like little building down there. And check it out, all the rain is at the approach end of the runway. Right, we've got quite a long taxi. Why did the APU not start? There you can see the weird glowing windows. Yeah, a bit unnecessary. I wonder if it's an issue with the scenery or just something on... Maybe I've got an add-on or something that's not playing nicely with the scenery. It's the only scenery that does that. So, I mean, I have a feeling the developer would have noticed something like that. So it could be an issue on my system. Anyway, it's not the end of the world. We will be seeing Kruger Mpumalanga Airport, all of its glory, in future episodes of Neofly, because we're going to be operating out of here quite a bit. Kind of like we have been doing out of Kilimanjaro. Right, I turned off the landing lights. Let's set them to taxi. And strobes are off. This guy needs to go to standby. Yeah, the scenery looks fine during the day, so most of our operations in and out here will be during the day. Okay, this is Alpha 3. That is very bright. Taxi lights off for his sake. Although he's... if it works here at night, He's probably blind already. Right. Okay, APU is on. That's done. That's done. So we can pretty much come up here and turn these off. And then we can shut down our engines. Like so. Parking brake is set. Then we can just start turning off all of these. That's fine. Leave that on. That should be off. Those, that one, this one. Stop pinging. Okay, that's cool. Those are already off. We can turn this off now. That to off. That to off. This to off. All of these off. That's off. We can turn off the packs now because we don't have any passengers to disembark. That's off. And we might as well... Well, we can turn the beacon off, but we might as well shut down the APU. We'll leave the batteries on just so when we jump outside, we have a bit of light on the aircraft. It's not that great. We can probably just shut down. So logo lights off. Nav lights will leave on, so as soon as we turn on power, we have those on. We can switch off the batteries. Right. There we go. Now we can just kind of see the nose of our aircraft. Let's get those funny lights out of the shot. Right, and there we are. Welcome to Kruger Mpumalanga. This is going to be our base of operations for the next couple of episodes, or the next several episodes of the Neofly series. So I think what we'll do in episode 12 is have a look at setting up some routes starting or kind of emanating from here at Kruger Mpumalanga. So definitely going to go to Skukuza. Some of the smaller airports like Pilgrim's Rest that we had here, we'll have some helicopter flights out to some of those smaller airports, things like the Kodiak. Into Skukuza and those places, probably going to be the PC-12s. Then I want to do some cargo operations. So we've got a Caribou that we can have up here going between here and Skukuza and things like that. And then I also want to get a C-160 to do big cargo runs from here into Pretoria and Johannesburg and possibly even down to Durban. So I think in the next episode we're going to start setting up a route network, and then I might in episode 13 head back down to Durban, do a couple of flights around there, see how things are going, and then come back up here to carry on our charter operations here in Kruger. But we'll see when we get to those episodes what they have in store. As always, plans change as we go because things happen. But anyway, if you made it all the way to this part of the video, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you want to stay tuned to the Neofly series, you know what to do down below, and I'll see you in the next one.